What do you think makes an expert golf player?
It's passion. I'm obsessive.
You coach NFL players, you coach NBA players, tons of players inside D1.
You're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where perseverance.
How does someone build that? Really want to get into specific strategies.
Jason Tatum, I helped him get into golf. When he started playing, I literally told him, I was like,
So it's the second time you're like perfectly in line with the research. That is a linear path to gaining and building perseverance.
All goes back to deliberate practice.
Deliberate practice. Which is actually very similar to what I do at a therapist.
You want to be in these situations that create pressure, and you can really enjoy being in those situations and not fear it.
Psychoanalyzing as many golf interviews I could find with the master. The biggest thing I came up with is ability to be able to embrace pressure.
Yep.
Which is, and there's an equation for it. It's like by the time you get there, 30 seconds, it's all right, let me go through this habit formation. You want to talk about happiness. Let me know what your thoughts are about happiness and how it plays a role in golf.
Happiness outside of golf. You have to have happiness in golf.
You said 3 out of 4.
Nice.
Based on the research.
I like that.
3 out. Dan's like, damn,
That's
I'm good.
good.
Like,
75%, that's passive.
Yeah, health, hobbies,
The conversation that a parent has with their kid after performing, I think, is a very important part of how the kid feels about that sport.
We mentioned before, everything is very intertwined.
Totally.
What do you think makes an expert coach?
I have one question for you.
Oh, ask away.
Welcome to the All Mental Podcast for athletes, where we do a deep dive into the mental strategies so that you can be able to gain a competitive edge in any sport that you play. I'm your host, Charles, and while I am a licensed therapist, this is only for informational and educational purposes only. This is not substitute for your own individual therapy. If you do need a therapist, please do find one inside your area. Finally have a golf coach and golf player here on the podcast. I've been waiting for this for a really, really long time. Daniel Boisvert, you have over 13 players as the top Massachusetts player of the year. You have tons of players inside D1 right now as far as college goes. You coach NFL players. You coach NBA players. Welcome to the All Mental Podcast for athletes.
Thanks for coming in today.
I'm sure I missed a lot more accomplishments that you,
That's
you
all
have
good.
there.
That's all good.
But I think this podcast is going to be phenomenal because there's 4 new things on this podcast. 1, the golf coach.
Yeah.
2, you really want to talk about perseverance, which
Yep.
I think is an amazing mental construct that no one's ever wanted to talk about that before. So when you sent that, I was like, oh, yes. And then also happiness
Yep.
as a very specific aspect of the mental game for golf, but really does impact how a player really does play. And then lastly, expert. Like, what makes an expert golfer? What makes an expert coach?
Yep.
Because there's research around that part as far as every profession has a very specific lining of what makes an expert. And sometimes they overlap, like we talked.
Yeah.
Our expertise and what makes us an expert overlaps. Not saying I'm an expert, but like it overlaps. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to be able to dive in here, and I appreciate you having me at Pin High Golf. You're
Pin
the
High
owner
Golf.
of Pin High Golf.
I am.
Here as well in Groton, right?
Grafton.
Grafton.
Yep.
Owner of Pin High Golf in Grafton. I'm sitting in a facility. I just missed that.
Grafton, Groton. It's like the same thing.
Perfect. Well, yeah. So let's dive into perseverance. How do you, and then we'll dive into some really want to get into the specific strategies on how someone builds perseverance, how someone builds happiness, how someone builds into being an expert.
Yep.
So for perseverance, how does someone build that? Well, why is it important for a golfer? And then,
Well,
how
I
does someone
think when
actually
you
build
look at great athletes, especially in golf, Tiger Woods is the most successful golfer potentially ever to live. Tiger and Jack. Tiger only won 22% of the time when he played golf. Jack Nicklaus won 12% of the time. These are the 2 best golfers of their era.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't handle losing as much as you're going to lose, you're going to have a really hard time mentally preparing, being able to bounce back, being able to get the most out of yourself. So I think understanding what it takes to become a great player, and also understanding to be a great player, that doesn't necessarily mean you're winning every time that you go and tee it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first part of perseverance is a mental shift. I think
Totally.
it's a mental shift. It's education, like
Yep.
psychoeducation. And then there's a tangible strategy part to it. And so kind of a linear path to build perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
And the big obstacles, a lot of times it gets taken away
Yep.
at an early age through our youth, unconsciously or subconsciously gets taken away. But it's that mental shift part of specifically for golf. You have a really small ball.
Yep.
You have to hit it hundreds of yards.
Yeah.
You have a really small face to hit it with. If you are off, even a little bit, a millimeter to the left, a millimeter to the right, if you're an off 0.1% of an angle, that's going to send the ball in a completely different direction. It's an extremely small margin of error. I'm not sure if there's a sport that has a smaller margin of error, but it's very, very, very small.
Yeah, and that's where I think part of perseverance is like your willingness to compete and your willingness to miss.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Makakara, who I was talking to you about earlier, he talks a lot about your willingness to miss.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of having perseverance, and it's kind of taking on these challenges, and it's understanding how difficult it is, but not letting that get in the way of you planning and preparing and trying to execute and hit a great shot, opposed to being up there with the sole purpose of trying not to hit a bad shot.
Yeah.
Because those are two completely different mindsets to be inside.
And one
of.
throws your mindset into the present, and one puts your mindset into either the past if you just hit a bad shot, or the future if you're worried about hitting a bad shot. And then depending on what your score is right now, it's, if you're up, you're doing great, you might feel a little bit less of that. But if you're behind, you might be having a tougher time with that.
Yep.
But this mindset shift is specifically for golf, knowing that if I said, hey, throw a basketball to a dumpster, people are like, all right, I can do that. Huge margin of error. All right, throw a basketball to a regular basketball hoop. Now throw a basketball to like a smaller and smaller thing. Throw a golf ball onto that cup right there from 50 yards away.
Yeah.
Your expectation should be, I'm probably going to miss this hundreds of times. The margin of error is so small. So golf, if you have that understanding of that, it's going to take a lot of missing. It's going to take a lot of failures. And that is simply a part of the game. And that is totally okay.
And it's okay to be aware of that while still improving mentally.
Yes.
Because you'll see players that from a mental standpoint, they have great structure and great things in place to help them think the right way, but they still have scoring wise, they still have ups and downs, and it's kind of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You'll see on the PGA Tour every week when you look, you'll see a guy have a 10 to 15 stroke swing from one round to another.
Mm-hmm. If you talk to that person, like what happened there? Like what? And usually the outcome from the physical outcome starts here in the mental aspect.
Yep.
Because golf is different too, is you have a lot of time between shots.
You sure do.
Which can be like, oh, this is great. You have so much time, or you don't have as much pressure on you but actually that can generate a lot of pressure because you have all that time.
It can. And that's a big thing for me with a lot of my elite players. It's understanding how to utilize that time in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're at the PGA Tour level, that's what these caddies are, the value of these caddies. They're going to bring up the football game last night in between shots. They're going to help distract you because it's not healthy to be on the golf course for 6 hours of competition and the whole time you're out there to be thinking about your performance, thinking about the results, thinking about outcome stuff. Like you'll be mentally exhausted by the time you finish a round of golf. So for my players, it's having, a pre-shot evaluation and a post-shot evaluation. And once you get outside of that time frame, for some people, it's 30 seconds before the shot, they're locked in their routine. And then they've got 10 seconds after. Some people, it could be double that length, but you have to have a time to evaluate and you have to be able to move on and then let your mind almost wander in between shots and have it's a lot healthier way to play golf.
Yeah. I mean, after every like individual therapy session, after every podcast, my brain needs downtime. Yeah. And that's only a therapy session is about an hour. And podcasting I told you yesterday was an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, my brain needs some downtime because it's on a different level. Go. So with performance, I think that's the first step, right? Is having that mental shift. And the second part, I think, is education. Specifically with golf, it's okay, something has a really small margin of error. How do I get better?
Yep. So that's having a good growth mindset, in my opinion. And that's understanding for like my elite players, it's being able to understand stats. Like your stats don't lie to you. So it's understanding, okay, this is what's holding me back. And then we come up with a plan based on their time available of what we need to do short term to kind of help create better long-term success. sometimes if you're just focused on, okay, this is the issue, but you're not putting in place these little steps that are going to kind of help you resolve it, you can just get stressed out and spin your wheels and really not make any progress at all.
Yeah.
So I think having a growth mindset, having a plan in place, I think those are two very important components of that.
Fascinating. So it always happens every podcast. It's always specifically in line with the research. Like after this, I'll go pull up the specific research article that mentioned. It's literally a line in there. It's like just like one sentence of, in order to build perseverance, is having goals.
Yep.
And then having sub goals.
Yep.
Yes, your goal is to win. Yes, your goal is to drop a certain amount of points. But you need to have the sub goals in there. And I think it's understanding the only way to get better at something is to practice that something.
Yep.
The education piece, I want everyone to understand. This is any sport. This is whether you cook, whether you like practice, play video games, whether you do sports, it doesn't matter. You know the guy who said, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert? I think his name was Eric. I should know this. But
the book?
He's a researcher. I'm pretty sure his first name was Eric, and I forgot his last name.
Because I think Malcolm Gladwell was 10,000 hours, right?
I wonder if he got it from his research.
Potentially.
But it was just funny is after that came out, everyone was like 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours. And Eric was like, guys, you misconstrued my message here. You misread my research. It's not about, yes, the more hours you have, like if someone has 10,000 hours, you're probably going to be an expert. The most important piece is first, and a bunch of research has been done since, is looking at every single pro. Whoever is the one who did the best typically put the most hours into that craft.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. You want to get better at a low margin game, the more hours you put in, the better you will get.
Yep.
It's just that simple. So if you're struggling with it and to understand perseverance, it's okay, first, I'm going to lose a lot. I'm going to fail a lot. Okay, the only thing I have to do is to practice more. But what he wanted to get people out of that article is how you practice. And you alluded to it already.
Totally.
So it's the second time you're like perfectly in line with the research.
Sadly, I know a handful of people that have put 10,000 hours in, and they are not experts, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like it's utilizing that time properly. Yeah. And that can, like we talked about earlier, that could be more time with me. It could be more time in the gym. It could be more time on the golf course. There's a lot of layers to the onion that's going to make someone a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
And at certain times you need more of certain things.
Yeah. And I think it's the part of how someone practices, it's very concrete. He gave 4 different types of practice. Deliberate practice being the quote unquote best, as in the most effective.
Yep.
Naive practice being the quote unquote worst, as in least effective. Now, depending on what your goals are, depends on which one you're fine with.
Yep.
Naive practice in golfing terms would be just going to the range, just smacking balls. Or just going out, hanging out with friends.
It's a couple wedges and then drivers.
Yeah. You're hanging out, you're relaxing, you're not trying to improve a specific part of your game, you're having fun. Totally fine. You just want to have fun.
If your goal is not to be a Division I athlete or
totally fine. Play on tour, totally fine. If your game's not to improve, totally fine. And then you have structured practice, which I don't know if you get this in golf as much as in team sports. But structured practice would be a typical team practice. Everyone's doing the same thing.
Colleges definitely have a structured practice schedule.
Yeah, so you get that probably in college. Yep. But under that, maybe in high school, you have that too.
Not in the Northeast. It's not. High school golf in the Northeast isn't the best just because of the amount of daylight the kids have. So the practices aren't great. The 9-hole matches are kind of crammed in after school. It's not really where you're going to see kids in the Northeast like really getting their game to the next level. A lot of that's coming on the weekends. It's coming in the summertime. It's playing in 2-day tournaments on the weekends against better players. And
gotcha. So it's tougher. So that makes this
conversation. But there is part of what I do is like putting together some practice plans for the kids. Yeah. Like I always want them leaving here with at least 1 or 2 things that they're hyper focused on between now and when I see them next. And it's never, I want them to get it to a point where they own it, not they can do it every once in a while.
Yeah. See, you're getting too high level on me too fast. You're like, let's go to the top. Let's go to the top. Like, all this other stuff. But I think that makes this conversation even more important as far as golf goes, especially if you're inside a colder climate, because if you don't have that time to structure practice, you're not even going to get that.
Yeah.
So if you're just focusing on naive practice,
Yeah.
then you're really doing yourself a disservice. But structure would be like we're all going to do these drills, but it's not individualized.
Yep.
You're not going to get as many, hey, you specifically need to work on this. You
Mhm.
specifically need to work on that. Everyone's doing the same type of thing. The next level is purposeful practice. That would be getting your practice techniques, what you should be practicing based on watching videos, which is very popular for golf. You know, it's
Totally.
like, hey, you want to fix your swing? Do this. You want to fix this? Do this. You want
A
to
lot
hit
of good information out there.
There's tons of information out there.
Yep.
So if you don't have access to a coach, then your purposeful practice would be like, okay, you have to do some sifting here as what is the cleanest. I know you said Tiger Woods has the best stroke to be able to learn from. I'm not sure we still hold by that, but but you might from your past interview. But it's like, which golfer has the best technique fundamentally?
Yeah.
How can I match my technique to their technique? And then which videos can I watch that will give me the correct strategies to be able to do so?
Yep.
That'll be purposeful practice. You're practicing with a specific purpose to get better.
Totally.
Then the highest levels where you talked about is deliberate practice, where you have a performance coach or some other type of coach specifically looking at your game, probably utilizing film, and saying, hey, you hit the ball like this. Here's where you're doing great. Here's where you need to make some changes. It might be 10 changes, but let's focus on 1 or 2.
Yep.
Here's 2 very specific exercises for you to practice. If you can do it outdoors, great. Here's stuff you can do indoors as well. When we meet next, we're going to focus on these specific things.
Yep.
Which is actually very similar to what I do at a therapist. If it's with confidence, there's a core in there of where the confidence lies at. Once we find that core of where your confidence is kind of messed up at, here's 2 or 3 specific strategies to impact that confidence specifically for you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's general things everyone can do, but specifically, like, these are things you need to be able to do. So for perseverance is understanding the mindset that it's a game of small margins.
Yep.
And then understanding the education bit of the only way to get better is to put in more hours.
Yep.
And then it's a specific strategy of understanding that more hours of specifically deliberate practice.
Yep.
That is a linear path to gaining and building perseverance. And then you hit not a wall, but you hit this, I forgot the correct terminology for it. But if you have a graph and it goes up and up and up, eventually it kind of hits this peak and then it
flattens out.
Yeah, I think it starts with an A, I forgot. But it flattens out.
Yeah.
And then I think it goes back to the mentality game of, I think it's, actually, before I say my thoughts, let me hear your thoughts. Once you kind of hit that peak of you understand what perseverance is, you understand you need more hours in, you're doing deliberate practice, what do you think someone there is at a high level already as far as perseverance goes? When they actually start playing into tournaments, how do they continue to have that perseverance? It might be easier to think about what gets in the way of that perseverance.
With a lot of players, it's a focus on an outcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's thinking too far ahead.
Yeah.
And then that can lead to a ton of other issues. You have a rough start and then you start to press and you start to get too many shots back. You're starting to be more aggressive than you typically do. And then you start making bigger numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can lead to just a mind that becomes very clogged. Mm-hmm. Some people go very technical when that's happening and they start to think a lot about their golf swing. Mm. Some people get it more into like a fight or flight and they get really aggressive or they get very timid. Some golfers, unfortunately, will give up on a round. Mm. So I think perseverance, continuing that on the golf course, I think a lot of that is a pre-shot. It's having a routine. Mm. It's being able to be more process-minded and not as much outcome-minded. I think that's a really big part of it.
So we're on the same wavelength.
Great.
Confidence.
Yes, 100%.
There's 4 aspects of confidence. You mentioned 2. You have physical confidence, you have performance confidence, you have outcome confidence, you have process confidence. After this, I can show you the graph. It's in a different research article.
Yeah.
And when someone literally splits it in like there's these 4 different quadrants of confidence. And I think it's players get focused on outcome.
Yep.
So then when you're focused on outcome, now we're diving into the research of of focus, which is literally just being inside the present moment.
Yep.
If you're inside the present moment, your brain's able to utilize its brain power to what's happening in the present moment.
Yep.
But golf is different because the ball is not moving.
Nope.
But it also has
A lot of other variables.
a lot of variables because the ball's not moving. You can
weather
think.
and everything.
Yeah.
And even lies and all sorts of different conditions.
Everything.
Yep.
But then if your focus is inside the future, because you're worried about the outcome, and a lot of players have outcome confidence and a lot of players have performance confidence,
Yep.
which I don't like as from the mental game. It's too, and someone might disagree with me. Someone disagree with me, and then they agree with me by the end of it. I'm like, you can disagree with me. But I think it's not stable enough.
No.
You don't have enough
And don't get me
control over
wrong,
it.
I want my players to have success from like a winning perspective, but solely thinking about that's not what's going to get us there.
It's part of the process is everyone wants to win.
Yep.
We're not saying don't focus on winning. What we're saying is, in order to win, the ability to be able to do that is you need to be more process oriented with your confidence, and also argue more physical oriented with the confidence. I haven't explained physical yet, but I will. But the outcome confidence is if you're on shot 5 and if you do par and you have 65 shots left to go, why are you worried about shot 63 and 62 and 54 or whatever? It's too far down the road. You have no control.
Energy.
It's wasted energy.
Yep.
But then, like you mentioned, if you're behind one, you're like, okay, they just hit a great shot. All right, so I know there's a bunker here. I know I can squeeze it in here. I've done it in practice. I played yesterday. I know I should really go for this spot on the fairway. And I want to try to squeeze it in there so I can try to be able to hit an eagle. Now your attention is way past there.
Yep.
So then when you actually hit the shot, you're thinking about where the ball is going to land. So now your head picks up early. Your head picks up early. That throws off your actual physical movement, and now the ball lands in the
Totally.
bunker.
And these things can all change. I mean, the golfer can start, in a lot of cases, they'll start walking faster, heart rate goes up, decision-making gets quicker. The golf swing changes a lot because of all those variables.
Yeah, mental impacts. That's why I want to do golf so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like it stays there, the ball stays there, but the mentality impacts your physical movement. And with the small margins of golf, it's not like it's not like football where you can throw it a bit off, but the receiver can just move this way, move that way, or adjust to it. So the ball should be here, but if you throw it here, you're okay. In golf, the ball should be here, but you hit it here, it's in the water.
Be in a lot of trouble.
It's in a lot of trouble. So I think when players have the outcome confidence, that impacts negatively their ability to be able to play well. And then if players have performance confidence, as far as my confidence is based on how I performed previously.
Yep.
Golf goes in rounds.
Well, like I said earlier, Tiger only won 22% of the time. So with that mindset, he'd only be going into some of it. There wouldn't be a lot of events he's going into feeling super confident.
Yeah. Like it doesn't bode you well at all.
No.
In every sport, tennis, I think Roger Federer won 50% of his points.
Yeah. And he's such a great example of perseverance.
Yeah.
Has his mindset through his whole career is phenomenal.
Djokovic, I think 50% of his points. You lose a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in these especially when you have multiple rounds, things like quarterbacks, you're going to miss some throws. You might throw a pick. A running back, you didn't go to the correct.
But at the same time, if you had a 12% completion percentage in the NFL, you're not going to last very long.
I might be able to get
You're not going to be talked about as Jack Nicklaus has spoken about.
That's what I mean. Like golf is so like these sports, you can have, if you have a 70%, I guess baseball's like that too.
Yeah.
Baseball, you're hitting 30%.
Good players at 30%, somewhere in that
You're doing
ballpark.
amazing.
Totally.
So baseball has a hard one. Golf has a hard one. The margin of errors is extremely.
Tennis.
And you're a baseball player too. So it's like you have a very small margin of error. So if you're based on your previous performance, whether it's the previous day or whether it was 2 strokes ago.
Yeah.
Like I messed up 2 strokes ago on this hole. I hit a bogey. I'm down. But you're only on like shot 15, shot 30. Your focus should be on the present moment. Which you mentioned, there's all these habit routines that you can be able to get into as far as channeling your brain to be inside the present moment. The habit helps your brain focus in on it. I won't get too far away because we're going a far tangent from perseverance. But really, it should be physical confidence. And then I think during tournament day, it should be process confidence.
Yep.
Physical confidence means your confidence comes from your practice.
Yep.
So in line with perseverance, mental shift, understand you have a low margin of error. Then it's understanding I need to more hours I put in, the better I'll get. Then it's actually putting in those hours of deliberate practice. Then when it's tournament day, it's, hey, my confidence is because I put in a ton of hours.
Totally.
Maybe that weather is cold, so I don't have a lot of time to be outside. Or maybe I don't have the money to be outside because golf is really expensive.
Yep.
But from what I can do inside, I put in a lot of hours of what I can do. I can practice my golf swing. I can do this. I can do whatever I need to be able to do, strength-wise, flexibility-wise. I put in practice. My confidence is very concrete into what I can put in. And if you're injured, you can only do so much. Is whatever I could do, I did do.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, if you're sick, you couldn't really do anything. And it's like, hey, the best is what I'm going to be is where I'm at right now.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. And then it's performance confidence. Not performance, sorry, process. And I say process confidence. You say process. How would you define process?
It's steps that you go through to prepare yourself to perform. If you look at, like I talk to a lot of the young kids, it's like, what do you do in the morning before you go to school? All right, you get up, brush your teeth, you take a shower, you have breakfast, get your backpack, you go. Like if you didn't do any of those things, you'd feel very unprepared. So I think a process it's very individual, in my opinion, to the person, because everyone has different personality traits and everybody reacts differently in a performance environment. But I think a process is something that you can go through to help distract you from all the other things that are going on around you.
So as far as even before they step on the green, it's the performance. It's a process it takes for them to be able to get there.
Yep.
And that's going to help build them confidence, which is kind of like in line with the physical confidence as well. Yep. It's like all that's part of the process of getting there. What about on day of, during the middle of the tournament? How does process?
Well, on day of, I think even if you look at how a player shows up, when they show up, how early relative to their tee time, these guys have processes that they go through before the round, whether it's in the physio trailer getting stretched out because they tend to have a tighter back in colder weather. They're more aware of that, so they spend more time doing X, Y, and Z. And then if you look at players' warm-ups, a lot of warm-ups are based on getting you prepared to go out and compete.
Yeah.
Something Tiger used to do was at the end of his warm-up, he would play on the range. He would play the hole he was about to go play. So he would visualize the tee shot that he was going to have to hit on the first hole.
Yeah.
Based on how he hit that tee shot, he would then make a decision on what iron shot he had to hit to a certain location on the driving range. So every player has a process they go through on the range before a round to help get them ready to go out. When you're on the golf course, then there's a ton of processes, whether we're looking at, your perseverance, having like a good pre-shot routine, course management, knowing the golf course, knowing your tendencies and how to position yourself around the course based on your tendencies. There's a lot of layers to that.
So maybe we'll dive into habits, because how you're talking about processes, the physical, concrete processes that individuals do. My thought process is mental process. So, like you mentioned, it can be up and down. And so when I think of process, I think of players. This is more of a mental thing. It's a cognitive reframing of it's part of the process. Part of the process of the golf rounds, I'm gonna hit a bad shot. Part of the process of the golf rounds, I might hit into the bunker. Like if it's a course that has a bunch of bunkers on it, I might hit one. Yeah,
so I think that's like acceptance of the challenge. It's kind of on game day. It's like it's embracing challenge. It's like today's the day I'm going to go and perform under pressure, and I'm excited to encounter these obstacles. And it's not being afraid of them. I think another huge part of that is your self-talk.
Yeah.
I think it's a really big part. We might be here for 2
hours, Dan. We're going. Yeah, I just talked about this yesterday. Like when I ended up psychoanalyzing as many golf interviews I could find with the Masters and analyzing the documentary Full Swing and then analyzing the winners of the Masters and their interviews, the biggest thing I came up with is ability to be able to embrace pressure.
Yep.
And there's an equation for it, which I didn't know in that video at the time when I did the analysis. I learned later. But the first thing is to embrace it and see it specifically, like you said, as a challenge. Which I can show you another research article where it says challenge. It's either a challenge or a benefit.
My buddies will laugh when they're golfing with me because I'll hit a terrible shot and I'll be screwed in a terrible
Mhm.
position, and they're like, "Oh, you're in jail over there," and I'm always like, "Wait until you see how great this is going to be."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you can't be fearful of it.
No, because it doesn't help. The
No,
best
it
way
does you
is
no good. Obviously, I'm very aware that I'm not where I want to be.
yeah, yeah. No matter
And
how
it's
good of a shot
not,
I hit.
but like
Yeah.
me dwelling on that's not going to do me any good. So like I've created this like delusional confidence in myself.
Mhm.
My students all laugh because I tell everyone I'm the best short game player in the world.
Mm.
I don't really practice very much, but I hit ridiculous short game shots just because I've convinced myself I
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah. So you see it as a benefit, which is
100%.
a higher level.
Yeah.
So you can see it as a threat. There's a fourth one. It's like worse than a threat. It means that like I don't remember the specific terminology, but you're doomed. So you can view it as like you're doomed. That's the worst thing.
Yes.
Or you can view it as a threat, like, oh no, I'm in a really bad spot right now. Like this
Yeah.
is gonna be difficult. Best way or better way is a challenge. Like, oh, this is a challenge. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Like, this is what, and if you can tie it back into, I'll explain it. The formula first. I added one into there. I added grounding into it
Mhm.
as an initial bit to get your mind into the present moment.
Yep.
Grounding is an extremely useful strategy. We're
Totally.
literally just touching something and being aware of like, oh, this feels a little bit grainy. Like, this is real wood. It's real wood. It's grainy. This is smooth. It's wood, but it's painted. That brings your mind to just focus on what's literally happening. You
Yep.
touch your golf clubs. You can have a little
Sensory.
anything
Yep.
sensory, the little pen that
Totally.
you use to be able to mark your golf ball. Rub that. And then it's viewing something as a challenge
Yep.
or as a benefit. Either A, maybe it's a benefit because you have the concrete evidence of how well you do in short game. So, like, oh, it's here. I'm going to dominate. It's already a wrap.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have it, it's okay. This is a challenge.
Yep.
And then you can self-talk a couple different ways. Either A, you can literally tell yourself this is great. B, you can tell yourself I dominate from this based on past experiences. C, if you're more of a confidence person, it could be like, this is what I trained for. I've hit a bunch of these shots.
Yeah.
On purpose. I
Yeah.
knew going into this tournament, there's a lot of bunkers.
Which goes back to the deliberate practice.
It's a deliberate practice. So
Yep.
you can tie in your ability to embrace the pressure for
Yep.
something very concrete.
And I also think the routine is part of the deliberate practice too.
Mhm.
So then when you're in that scenario, you're not flustered and it's very
Yeah.
clear, like this is what I got to do. It's go time.
It ties into habit and
Totally.
routine research.
Totally.
And then from there, once you're there, a deep breath is usually really great because just it allows your body to be able to calm down. You mentioned heart rate.
You'll see that a lot on the PGA Tour.
It allows your heart rate to calm down.
Box breathing's a big one.
Big one. Because it just physiologically, that might be wrong. But like just as far as
Felt right.
it felt right. Physiologically, your physical body, it literally calms your body down. And then the last step is task oriented. What's next? So I'll ask you this. When you hit a golf ball, what specifically do you focus on?
Me personally,
Yeah. Notice this changes from golfer to golfer.
I'm very visual. Everything
Mhm.
for me is visual. So I'm visualizing how I want the shot to fly towards a target.
Mhm.
That visualization helps me feel what I want to do with the golf club.
Yep.
And then once I'm over the shot, everything's just about feeling athletic.
Mm.
For me, the longer I stand over it, the more I'll start to think about the
Mhm.
shot. So I try to be a lot more reactive, and I try not to overanalyze quite as much. But you'll see elite athlete, you'll see like a Bryson who
Mhm.
I would say probably overanalyzes, but for him that's what gets him
Yeah.
ready.
It's all different.
You know,
And then where do your eyes go when you're about to hit a shot? Are you saying like a specific point in the ball? Like after all that, are you like, oh, I need to hit it specifically here? Or do your
I'll be honest. I've had people ask me that a lot. I don't really think I'm not looking at. I'm looking at the golf ball,
Mhm.
but I'm not hyper focused on the golf ball. It's more of I'm trying to feel
Mm.
what I'm seeing.
Mm.
The ball is where it is. Once I set up, I know that I know
Yeah.
where it is. I'm going to get back to it.
Mm.
Usually.
But you're trying to, and is it more of a, let me ask you this, is it more concrete as far as I'm trying to feel like my body needs to feel this way, and
Yeah.
or is it more in flow? Not. It's kind of hard to because this is
So
more abstract.
when I'm playing well, it's a flow.
Yeah, yeah.
There's very little thinking. It's a lot more shoot it. That's the number.
Mm-hmm.
This is the club. The environment's going to make it do this. Go.
Gotcha.
I think for a lot of players, I think they can struggle when there's too much thinking
Mm-hmm.
and it's not as reactive.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I do, and again, it's very based on the individual, but a lot of what I'm doing is trying to figure out like what are you thinking about? Like
Mhm.
what are the things going through your head?
Yeah.
A lot of times in golf, people will tell me 5, 6 different things, and 3 or 4 of them are all the same thing.
Mm.
And it's like you're wasting all this time thinking about something maybe you don't need to think about, or thinking about a bunch of things that are all one and the same.
Yeah.
So I think the swing happens in a second and a half. We can't have a lot.
You got to know what you're going
We
in on.
got to be very
But I think
selective.
that task-oriented bit is like that's the difference between each person, but it's finding what that is.
Yep.
You know, I asked them like, well, what do you focus on when you hit? You're like, I don't know. Like you like, what do you like? I have no clue.
Well, my thinking happens more in the pre-shot.
Yeah.
So in that pre-shot routine, that's where, let's say I have to draw one around the corner
Mhm.
to on a hard dog leg left. In my pre-shot routine, I'm visualizing how that's curving, and I'm
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
what I'm going to do to create that.
That's your task-oriented.
That's where
it
that
doesn't have
happens.
to be I look at this on the ball.
Yep.
Maybe Bryson is someone who does that.
Yep.
Someone could.
There are definitely
like-
players that focus on potentially the front of the ball when they're hitting an
Yeah.
iron to compress it more,
But
hitting the inside of the ball to hit more of a draw, outside, vice versa.
But I think I resonate with that because, my sport is tennis. I play recreationally. For a tennis ball, it hits. I have no control over how it gets hit back to me. Kind of. If I hit a really nice shot, I can
Yeah,
anticipate
you can
a short ball is coming.
totally.
But they might hit. I can see they hit with a lot of spin this way or more flat that way. I can see that. But for the most part, I have very little control. When the ball is coming, my mindset is cross court. And then I'm trusting my body to do what it needs to do
And
to
react
hit the
the
ball
right way.
cross court.
Yep.
If I'm thinking I got to hit the ball right here, my body ends up doing that on its own.
Yep.
So it's more like a feel thing, like you're saying.
And I think that goes back to the hours put in.
Right. You find out what works.
Totally.
And I think the point of this conversation for anyone else there, when it comes to pressure, which ties back into being present in the moment and process in your process, we'll hit on habits, and then I'll talk about how I thought about process.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's going to go, like we mentioned before, everything is very intertwined.
Totally.
So athlete needs to figure out what is your task-oriented thing before you hit a shot. Is it staying at a specific point in the ball? Is it thinking about your feel? Is it something different? What works for you?
Yep.
So then when pressure happens, you have this very specific routine of, I like grounding, seeing things as a challenge,
Yep.
having some type of self-talk, whether it's tied back into your confidence or whether it's literally just, I got this, let's get it, whatever it may be, taking a deep breath, and then whatever your task-oriented is for that shot is what you do.
Yep.
If you realize there's not much emotion involved in that formula.
No,
It's
which is
just
great.
Maybe you can think of, the only emotion I can think of is excitement
Yeah.
when it comes to challenging. So that's like the only emotion that's kind of there. But you're not talking about sad and like happy, like distressed, disheveled. Like those emotions don't exist in that formula.
Yep.
It's very boom. Now, habit research, I'll keep it brief so we're not like here for 3 hours. Habit research is your brain has a stimuli. The best way I can explain it, I use the example all the time because it's the easiest one. You walk into your kitchen. That's the stimuli. What do you feel?
Ready to eat.
Yeah, hungry.
Yeah.
So what do? You open up your fridge.
Yep.
And you're like, I don't know what I'm in here for.
Been there.
Why am I
Been
here?
there. Yep.
But it happens because your brain is like, I'm in the kitchen.
This is what we do in the kitchen.
I'm hungry. I want to go grab some food.
Yep.
So it's a stimuli, it's an action or feeling, and then it's a reward.
Yep.
The reward is you get some food, you feel great. If it's sugar, like, yeah. If it's whatever, you feel good. You feel fuller, great. This water is here. I see water, like, oh, stimuli, I'm thirsty. If this water was not here, I probably would not feel thirsty. There's no stimuli for it. Now I'm thirsty, damn it. But the more you practice, and I almost forgot about this bit of research, There's a myth out there that it takes 21 days to build a habit. Actually, that's incorrect. Someone wrote an article and someone misconstrued that article, and then it became like fact for some odd reason. But then there's only like 3 articles on this, actually figured out how long does it take to build a habit.
Mhm.
It can take anywhere, I think the least amount, I think was 7 days. The highest was like 250.
Wow.
And it depends on how much you practice that habit. So if you want to eat healthier, for example, and thinking about the formula for habits, and all you have is junk food, and you go into the kitchen and you go to the spot, it's like, I want to eat these Oreos right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to break the habit. If you replace that, you can mess with the habit formation as far as replacing you can't change the stimuli from a kitchen. A kitchen's a kitchen.
So it's really replacing all those elements inside of that stimuli to help create a healthier, faster change.
Yeah. Don't buy any junk food. Now you can buy stuff they can shop on the app. Don't buy junk food. You won't have access to junk food. You replace that with grapes. Eventually, your brain is like, well, I guess I got to eat grapes. And eventually it becomes easier to maintain that habit. So that can be done in a lot shorter time than if you're trying to do that with a bunch of junk food. Now, with video games, you can change the cue that way or the stimuli that way. Just remove the video game. And then you won't have it. You try to replace it with other stuff. You might start playing some mobile games, but you got to be able to build that back. Nonetheless, knowing how habits function and how habits work, that strategy or that formula for embracing pressure becomes a habit.
Yep.
The more you practice it, and this ties back into deliberate practice, when you practice, if you practice that thought process, even if you're in a room, even if you're not out on the course, hey, I'm about to take this swing. Boom, 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 boom. Take the swing. Then when you're actually on the course, it becomes a habit.
Yep.
So even if you have that 2 minutes between your next shot, it's like by the time you get there, 30 seconds, it's all right, let me go through this habit formation. And that allows you to be able to perform better when you actually perform. Now, how that ties back into perseverance is process confidence is having the mindset that everything is a part of the process. Me hitting a bad shot is a part of the process with this golf round. I'm going to hit good shots. I'm going to hit bad shots. I'm going to hit some decent shots. It's all simply part of the process. If I get tied into outcome, I'm screwed. If I get tied into my past performances, I'm screwed. If I stick to physical confidence from how I train, if I stick to my habits, my processes, my actual mechanical processes of getting ready for the tournament is habit formation. All that's habit formation. You're having your brain be able to focus into, despite whatever else is going on around here, this is golf.
Yeah.
So for golf, I listen to very specific music. I have very specific way I tie my shoes. I have very specific things that I wear. All that helps my brain utilize habit formation to say, hey, stimuli, I'm putting this shoe on, I'm doing this. Hey, stimuli, I'm doing these stretches. Hey, stimuli, I'm messing up with this in my grip. Hey, stimuli, I'm cleaning my clubs in a very ritual type of way. That's me using habits to tell my brain it's time for golf.
Totally.
So using process in that, using physical confidence in that, and then understanding that I'm going to have up and down shots. It's no big deal. If I use my habit formation for embracing pressure, emotions get taken out of it a bit. I'm able to have more mental self-discipline to just focus on a task at hand. And that, as a whole, will produce a better result.
Yep.
If I want to win, it's all the things that it takes.
Yeah, it's those. I think that's the long-term and the short-term goals.
Yeah, that's perseverance into one. That's how you strategically build that. And then you get to a point to where you say, oh, that works. Like, actually, objectively, that works. So, okay, I didn't play well. Like you talked about, like after interviews, after round interviews, I literally didn't play well. I know that I need to persevere. I know the only way for me to play better is getting a good night's rest of sleep, getting some good, dinner in there, getting good breakfast, and then
excited for the opportunity to go back out tomorrow and get it back.
Yeah.
Or not get it back, but to have the opportunity to go back out and compete.
Which I think goes into happiness. But before we get into happiness, there's one part I want to mention because, you work with a lot of parents.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of parents.
Yep.
The perseverance bit, I feel like gets taken away. Because part of perseverance is being okay with failure.
Yes.
And I think as we grow up in so many different domains, failure gets taken away.
Not as much consequence.
Not as much consequence. And so even with sports, it's, you fail, you didn't make the team. You failed, like you didn't start. Now it's like, oh, you failed. You can still make the team. You can still get some playing time in there. The expectation is that you are able to play. The expectation is, someone does something well and they celebrate. They shouldn't be celebrating. You lost. Like, yeah, they can celebrate. You want to celebrate next time? Win. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, failure happens. So even in the smallest parts, like my daughter is 3, so I make sure she fails on purpose.
Yeah, because there are parents. Over the 15 years I've been doing this, like it's definitely changed a little bit. But there are parents who I call them steamrollers. Like they get out in front of all the obstacles the kids have and they flatten them.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get to a point where that's going to become an issue. There may be times where maybe that helps them instill a little bit of confidence and self-belief in themselves, but you have to fail.
Yeah.
You have to.
Make sure you
Every great athlete ever. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Like, you're going to fail. That can't be what deters you from continuing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where perseverance, self-belief, it's your ability to like, I want to be good at this. I'm going to do what it takes to be good at this.
Yeah.
Just because I got cut from the team this year, I'm going to keep practicing just as hard as I've been practicing.
Yeah. I got cut because I wasn't good.
Yeah.
If I was good,
so I'm going to get better.
Get cut. Like, it's that simple.
Yep. And then it's going through all these different processes that we've talked about to figure out like what are the components that I'm lacking that's got Joe better than me.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing that I'm not doing? And that's when you're looking at all these professional athletes and the things that they do and the things that they say that help them perform and stay elite athletes.
Yeah. You need to fail. And then I think coaches and start sticking with parents for a bit, because sometimes even in therapy that happens too. Like the kid might not be doing well in a certain mental area, and specifically sports therapy. And it's like, yeah, the kid needs to fail, and it happens, and it's okay. And sometimes talking with parents, it's working with parents. Sometimes they want to feel comfortable. Like, I'm paying you. Like, I think X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah, but that's not helping.
Yeah.
And they're like, but I'm paying you for it. I'm like, yeah, exactly. You are paying me. Would you want to be paying me and me agree with everything that you say? Are you paying me to make your kid better?
Yep.
If your kid wants to get better,
because those are two very different things.
This is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as harsh as that. Maybe use some little kid, what I mean? Like, but it's like, yeah, this is what needs to happen. Like, little Timmy, little Sarah, she needs to go and fail. Why are you having her hit on such a hard course? She needs to figure out how to handle that, because when she does that, inevitably, I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, I think sometimes the parents don't want to admit that the kids are failing in a sense, and they don't want to accept that, and it just makes it such a harder journey.
Yeah.
They don't want the neighbors finding out that Timmy lost to the other neighbor in a tournament. I think if the more that the parents are in a outcome mindset, I think it becomes so much harder. So trying to get them to understand the process of actually improving and what that looks like, I think is extremely important.
No one's good at anything when they first try stuff. You fall on your face when you try to walk. Like,
Jason Tatum, I helped him get into golf. He's one of the best basketball players in the world. When he started playing, I literally told him, I was like, you're a newborn baby. Just because you're a good basketball player doesn't mean you're going to be a good golfer.
No.
Sometimes having the right expectation too, it frees you up and it makes it easier to learn. Instead of having this crazy expectation of yourself, and then you're just never gonna, you're never gonna be happy.
It's two completely different emotions. I think this flows into our next topic of happiness and how happiness plays a pivotal role into golf. You want to talk about happiness. Let me know what your thoughts are about happiness and how it plays a role in golf.
Well, again, over the 15 years that I've been teaching elite players, I've seen a trend of kids burning out and losing their happiness in golf, and it almost becoming more of a job at a young age, which I think is very dangerous, because you can lose your joy for it and never want to play it ever again. So I think to be an elite athlete, requires a lot of balance. You have to have happiness outside of golf. You have to have happiness in golf.
Mhm.
You have to have it with how you train and who you train with. And there's a lot of relationships that you have, and you've got to make sure that they're all healthy and they're all kind of helping you move towards the one goal,
Yeah.
you know?
How do you feel like happiness impacts a player when they're actually playing?
I mean, I know from personal experience, when you're upset with yourself and how you're performing, it's just not fun to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to be disengaged and not really give it your best effort.
Yeah. Yeah. So like negatively impacts your performance because you're just not,
Totally.
your mind's elsewhere.
Yeah.
We're at worst, it's I want to be here, I want to be there, I want to be somewhere else. But
And
here.
being happy doesn't mean I'm out there shooting 65. I think it's being grateful for what you have and the opportunity that you have to compete. And I think you want to be in these situations that create pressure, and having a chance to win something or having a chance to qualify for something. Those are great things. And if you look at them the right way, you can really enjoy being in those situations and not fear it and not get upset when you don't perform the right way or don't meet your expectations.
So how would a player concretely build happiness?
I think it's how you talk to yourself. It's how it's the dialogue that you have with your parents, making sure, going back to what we were saying earlier about kind of process and not result. I think the conversation that a parent has with their kid after performing, I think, is a very important part of how the kid feels about that sport. If they enjoy it, if they become more fearful of not doing well because of the questioning that they start getting in the car or on the ride home. So I think if the questions can be, hey, did you have fun today? Great. Awesome. What'd you learn? Awesome. Like, what are you going to do this week to get ready for your next event?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, you didn't do well here. Why didn't you do better with this? This person beat you.
We worked on this
Compared
all
these
last
things.
week. Like, I didn't see any changes.
Yep.
It should be like effort based.
Yep. Because I don't want you fearing that conversation, because then again, that's going to take away from your happiness. You know?
Yeah. You had a bad shot. Like, I know my parents saw that.
Yep. Oh, I've dealt with that a lot, where parents will be on the cart path kind of walking the golf course, and the kid will hit a bad shot, look straight over to the parents to see their reaction. And the dad's doing one of these, and then immediately you can see the kid just sinks into themselves, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Instead of like hey, come on, let's go. Let's, you got another opportunity on the next one.
It happens.
Like, chin up. Let's go.
Yeah. Deep breath.
Yep.
It happens.
Because that's another way to instill confidence and to instill happiness and to instill perseverance.
Yeah. And then when I hit a great shot, it's like,
Yep.
Keep it going.
I want my players, I tell them, whether you made an eagle or a double bogey, I don't want to know the difference. I want you to walk off the green, and I don't even want to know. And that was, being honest, that was hard for me at first as a coach, like going out there. I want to see all my kids do well.
Right.
But I know that how I react based on what's going on can have a direct impact on them and how they think and how they feel.
Right. You are that example.
Yep.
It's like the concrete aspects for happiness. You said 3 out of 4.
Nice.
Based on the research.
I like that.
3 out. Dan's like, damn,
that's
I'm good. Like,
75%. That's passive.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, and there's 4. There's technically 5, but the 5th one doesn't apply to everybody. I'll say it still though. So the 5, based on research, is faith. That's the one that doesn't apply to everyone.
Yep.
But can be really important for someone. That impacts happiness. Health.
Yep.
That's one you didn't get. That's okay. Health, hobbies.
Yep.
Gratitude, and relationships.
Yep.
So even if someone isn't faith-based, your health, that's the toughest one of all of them as far as, because when we talked about this, like people see golf and it's like, you have to be super healthy, where, like golf has changed to where players are working out.
Yeah.
As much as any other athlete goes, as far as flexibility, as far as how like you mentioned, that the driving distance has gone
crazy,
ballistic. That's because people are optimizing their bodies to be able to hit golf in the most efficient manners.
Yep.
So yeah, their body might look different, but it's highly optimized and they train a lot. So health can be really important as far as happiness goes. When you feel better, that's
Totally.
great. You want to be on the golf course, like, oh, my back hurts. Like you want to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
and tweak your back because you didn't stretch enough, or tweak your ankle because you didn't do this enough.
And a lot of
Or-
people don't realize how important their health is until they have an injury,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then you really start to value feeling healthy.
Yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah.
If it's a hot day
Yep.
and you don't have the cardiovascular system by the 16th hole, you're really tired.
Totally.
Health is a big thing for happiness. Feeling good, feel better.
100%.
Then you, like, as well as the serotonins and everything else that gets released when you actually do work out.
Mhm.
But health, hobbies. Like,
Yep.
yes, golf is not a hobby, but research says hobby in a sense of something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So if you find joy, just the fact that you're out here, and a lot of athletes put it in the terms of, I feel privileged to be here.
Yep.
I'm privileged to be able to play golf.
Yeah.
This is
Grateful to
great.
have this opportunity.
Grateful to have this opportunity. It's an opportunity just for me to be able to be here.
Yep.
You know, like you don't have to pass qualifying every time. If you're like, hey, I'm grateful to be able to play golf. One, golf is ridiculously expensive.
Mhm.
So the fact you even play it, forget, even if you're just like a junior playing golf, the fact you can even play golf on a golf
I think
course.
as we all get older, we start to be way more grateful just to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not what's going on. It's just, I'm out here
Yes.
with some good company.
Hanging out, relaxing, be grateful your parents have the ability to pay for you to play golf.
Totally.
Because that's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. And for a lot of families, it's a big sacrifice that
Huge.
one, if not both of the parents are making to make that opportunity
Yeah.
a thing.
And don't go full throttle with it where that creates pressure and it's like, oh my gosh, if I mess up, like I'm
Yeah,
wasting like
I've dealt with that.
Too,
I've dealt with that too.
you go too far down the line, but like, hey, this is great. I'm really grateful. And then you have relationships.
Yep.
Which I'll say relationships for last because there's an added component in there. And then you have like just gratitude.
Yep.
Which is part of being grateful to be here. I'm grateful to the fact that I'm even on this course with my friends. I'm grateful that my coach is here with me. I'm grateful that my parents are here. Maybe you're not, depending on how they act. But I'm grateful. It's
Yeah,
honest.
it's true. It is.
But I'm grateful for just the fact that like I get to be able to be here and hit golf. It's great. And then it's relationships, which I think the add component to that is taking, and this is the overall arching bit of why happiness is important. It takes pressure off.
100%.
It limits from having unnecessary pressure. Relationships is a big one of that. If you have a good relationship with your parents, if you have a good relationship with your friends, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, with your wife, usually older players get this when they're like, oh, I have my kids. I
Yeah,
have
spouse
my
that's
spouse.
supportive of what I'm trying to accomplish for myself and my family and our legacy. And
Bryson, when
Yeah.
Bryson's dad passed away, he's like, I have a different appreciation for the game. I get to be able to come out here and play it.
Yeah.
It's regardless of what happens here, I'm still a father. I'm still someone's son. I'm still someone's daughter. I'm still someone's friend. I'm still someone's lover. Regardless of this is good.
Yep.
It's all bonus from here. And that alleviates a lot of extra pressure. Because if you don't have happiness, if you don't have great relationships, if you don't have gratitude, if you don't have good health, if you don't see golf as a hobby, it's something that you enjoy doing, that brings your emotional state significantly down. It's going to negatively impact your
be
performance.
very stressed out.
Even if you're missing one, if you don't enjoy golf, I hate being here. Guess what? Your focus is out the window.
Yeah.
Your focus is somewhere future.
And there have been some golfers over the years that will say they don't enjoy it and it's more of a job. I don't know that it always was that way. I think they could get to certain points in their life where
Yeah.
it starts to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But to develop and to get to that point, I don't think you can have that mindset.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can do it.
And there's another tiny aspect of research as far as passion goes, where passion there's two types of way people think about passion. And either one is totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
People think that it's first love at first sight. I picked up a golf club, I love it. You can also develop passion just by playing the thing. And it doesn't matter which. Obviously, if you love it at first sight, it happens faster.
Yeah.
But the more you do something, it can grow into a passion. And at some point, there's a graph of it. Like obviously, you started out loving it. You're up here. If you love it later, you can still hit up the same point. But if you don't find it as a hobby, that's tough. If you don't have good health, that's tough. But now you're focusing on your back hurts, your knee hurts, your
Yeah.
shoulder, your rotator cuff hurts. If you don't have gratitude, if you're not thankful to be there, again, your mind's in a negative state. If you don't have positive relationships, That's when you get the I hit a shot. I'm looking over to see
Yep.
who my
It's a good
parent is.
really good
I
point.
hit a shot. Like, what does my spouse think? I hit a shot. Like, this shot is going to define who I am, even if you're not playing competitively. I've talked to everyone golfs. My brother-in-law golfs. My father-in-law golfs. My other brother-in-law golfs. My sister-in-law golfs. I'm the only one that doesn't golf. But even like, talking to other golfers, just play recreationally. I'm with my group of friends who I've known for years.
Yeah.
I feel if I miss this shot, they're going to hate me. It's like, bruh, you're playing a pickup game of golf. Like, relax. You're drinking beers.
2 of your other buddies just hit terrible shots as well. Don't
Chill
worry
out.
about
like,
it.
You guys aren't worried about what your handicap is. This is in double digits. Like, relax.
Well, and that goes back to like how you practice, and that has to be all based on your expectations.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hard on some people. They'll come in and they're complaining about their score. And I'm going to ask them, how much did you practice? What did you do when you practiced? And essentially we get to a point where I'm like, you haven't earned the right to complain about your performance because you're not doing any of the things required to meet those expectations. Yeah. You should just not play golf.
Or just play golf with a different expectation.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
or just, not keep your score and just go out and hit the ball around and just enjoy it for what it is.
I think a good evaluation tool is after they step off the course is like, yeah, you want to evaluate your performance, but what was your mentality like?
Yep.
I've had times when I'm practicing, like, again, pick up like recreational tennis, and I don't play well, or if I built like a little wall in my garage, and I'm not hitting well because I can only practice so much. But I'm like, my mentality was great. I was trying to dig to find out and continue. My focus was my mentality was top notch, which is what it is.
Yeah. So an academy that I started and ran for a long time, we used to have the kids do evaluations post round, and it wouldn't have there would be nothing related to score. It would be, what did you learn today? Who did you play with? Did you have fun? Did you meet someone new? Something like that. And then it would be, we're very strategic about how we would word it. It would be one thing that you did well and one area of growth. And that was it.
That was it.
So it was never, what did you score? How many 3-putts did you have? It was more things for the kids to think about that would pull their mind away from the outcome.
Maybe when I talk to my in-laws, I was just like, yo, how did you do? The first thing I say is score.
Oh, yeah. So everyone does. I'll look at people. I'm like, that's not what I asked you.
I'm going to start asking, like, I do ask them, like, yo, what was your score? I'm going to say you're getting better. I'm like, hey, did you have fun?
Yeah.
And they're probably like, yeah, I actually did have a lot of fun.
A lot of times for me, it's, how did it go? Oh, I shot that. I'm like, that's not what I asked. Like, how was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
who'd you play with? Did you? There's
and
a lot more.
I damn well know they enjoy it because they're away from their kids.
Yep.
So FaceTime, I'm like, yo, Kev, you have a big smile on your face, man. He's like, it's a little rainy today. He's like, yeah, you're having fun. You're enjoying yourself. The last part is one I haven't touched base on ever, but I think it's fascinating. This is like deep into the nuances of the weeds of a player. Asking from this standpoint first, what do you think mentally makes, actually not even mentally, what do you think makes an expert golf player? I asked you about coaches before, so I know you have an answer. I haven't asked about player.
It's passion. This is like, to become an expert at anything is a long journey. It doesn't ever happen quickly. If you don't have a true passion for what you're doing, I don't think you can withstand the ups and downs of golf long enough to get to that point of being elite. I think for anyone, like, I don't think I'm the greatest golf coach. I think I'm a good golf coach. I think what I do have is, like, I'm obsessive. Like, I care a lot about the people I work with, and I care a lot that I can help them. So I'm willing to do whatever I can to figure out how to help these people, whether it's connecting them with people like you, or it's me spending a lot of time reading different articles and different strategies of solving an issue that one of my players is dealing with. But like, you have to be obsessive. You have to be passionate. You have to really love what you're doing.
Passion. I like that because it's like an underlining. In order to get to wherever you want to go, you have to have passion for it. Because if you're a passionate golfer, probably I mean, you're tweaking your swing every 2 seconds, but it
Yeah,
means
we're always going to be, there's always
Yeah.
going to be stuff that a golfer's working on.
yeah, you're like, all right, how can I get better at this? How can I get better at that? My passion means instead of I could be watching a football game right now. I mean, I know you like the Patriots. I like the Eagles. We don't play till 4 something. But
Eagles, man, I don't know if I would have done this podcast tonight.
You're a Pats fan, though, right?
I am. Nick Foles got the best of us, though.
Well, you know, what's Nick doing nowadays? Is he playing anymore?
I don't think so.
He's enjoying his $50 million he got.
Yeah.
He got
Earned
paid. He earned it. He's like, hey, I beat Tom Brady once.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a couple of commercials to make fun of him about it. I'm living life.
God.
Okay, so passion for a player. And I think, we kind of talked about passions, like how you build it is you continue being involved in golf. It could be, coaching people. It could be, and usually people don't learn this until they get injured. Getting involved in being a coach. Getting involved. You don't have to be a full-on coach, but just coaching some little kids, coaching some like 8-year-old kids where, hey, if I'm a bad coach, it's okay. If I'm more involved in golf, I can be able to sign up to help inside a tournament. I can be able to do a bunch of different things to be involved in golf. And that fuels the passion of it.
Yep.
And then, that answers the passion question, the expert question. And then, was there anything you want to add about how someone would build a passion for golf?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. I think for some kids, it starts out with they have a really good friend that got into it, and it's something that they go out and they do together, and they really enjoy competing against each other, being out there. I think in some scenarios, it can come from the parents. I see it a lot where, hey, what got you into golf? Oh, well, my dad played, and for me, it's golf. I love playing golf because it gives me a chance to spend more time with my dad out doing something that he really likes to do.
Yeah, it's relaxing. It's fun.
Yeah, totally. So I think there's a lot of avenues. Like I express to a lot of parents that are like, I really want to get my kids into golf. I'm like, you need to connect it with something that they love. So like a lot of times you'll hear like, oh, we went to the driving range and then we went and got an ice cream after. So like it takes time for some kids to develop that love. Kind of what you said earlier. It's not always love at first sight.
Yeah.
Like I played golf when I was a kid a couple times a year. It was just something I did. Later in life, when I started doing it more, I fell in love with the learning aspect of it.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure it out. So you have to be careful, especially when they're young. I don't like to overcoach kids because you can coach them out of that passion.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little different for every person, but I think getting them around people that help keep it fun is the number one way to get a young kid into golf.
Passion, yeah. I think that's how I would like golf would be like that because it's such a low margin of error. Because it requires such a level of focus, I would get into it. The reason why I'm not into it yet, I think, is because I also understand, because it's a low margin of error, how much time it takes to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a big commitment.
I would have to take a level of commitment so I can get my skill level to a point so I can actually like hit some balls and have some fun. And then I would probably do it recreationally and obviously, but I would do it just like here and there, having fun. If there's going on a guy's trip for golf, I'm playing well enough to where I can hang with him, to where I can have the same conversation. I'm not in the woods somewhere while everyone else is closer to the fairway.
That's where some people, based on how they think and how their minds work, some people have a hard time getting into golf because they're hardwired a certain way and they're like so far ahead of where they are and they can't enjoy trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
They drive themselves crazy. I've seen that a lot.
I probably would want to get like a little projector like this, and then sorry, not like that. It's not a little projector. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The smaller ones, the ones that cost $500, not like $5,000 at a zero.
35,000.
Okay, time multiply by a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah. So not that, but like the smaller $500 ones, and then if I can be in a spot where I can practice on my own. Right, and just hit and hit and hit, and like this is cool. I feel like all right, let me.
Yeah, and I think as you start to improve, I think passion can come through that as well.
Oh yeah, and then I know
like for me, I got addicted with like just the process of getting better.
Yeah,
like I loved that. I felt like every week when I got into golf after college baseball, I felt like every week for like 2 years straight, I was better than I was the week before.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I can't wait to go to the range or go play
My
9
wife wouldn't
holes.
like
I was
that.
like,
with
it
the
was-
length of time that golf takes. Because tennis,
Yeah.
I can get up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Find someone wants to hit at
I was
6:37.
definitely in a unique position in my life where I had some time
Yeah.
to explore golf more and really.
I mean,
truly
I
fall in
could
love with
definitely
it.
get dragged along with my in-laws like that. I have that connection there.
Yeah.
But with tennis, I could like leave the house at 6 and I'll be back at like 8.
Yeah.
And because I'll just be waking up. And
Yeah.
she'd be like, hey, come join. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right. The two last things is, well, the last thing is expert. What do you think makes an expert coach?
Your eagerness to help people. Like I have most of the kids that I work with, I've worked with for, I would say on average 5 to 8 years for most of my students. It's a relationship. And it's for me, as a coach, I'm not satisfied essentially until they're satisfied within reason. If the expectations are ridiculous, I can separate myself from that. But if I have a kid in that works really hard and wants to do something and we're not able to do that, I'm not going to be happy until I figure out a way to help them accomplish that. It could be getting them connected to the right person in the gym. It could be connecting them with someone like you to help with the mental components. It could be all of us just getting together and get on the same page and talking through it together. But I think it's your willingness to do whatever it takes to help someone get better.
Nice. I like that. I'll give this might be the only chance.
I think there's a lot of ways I could go with that answer,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of where I went.
I like that. Passion. Cool. For me, as an expert, not an expert. For me, an expert therapist, and we were on the same wavelength with this one, was, in my standpoint, I've been a therapist for 10 years. I'm not an expert. But as a person who's able to pick the correct file out the file cabinet.
Yep.
So, her name was Kelly. She retired. She, to me, was an expert therapist. There's a situation. It's like, hey, Kelly, what do you think I should do in this situation? Give a consultation. And her file cabinet was as such, probably the same size as my file cabinet, but she knew exactly what folders to pick
For what cases? Yep.
and how much of the folder to pick. Sorry, her cabinet was bigger than mine. She had way more folders. She'd be able to go this folder, a touch of this, a touch of that, package it up. Here, Charles.
Yep.
Like verbally. Charles, do boom, 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 boom. I'm like, cool, I hit on like 60% of that. What did I miss again? That was 40%. And this too? Oh, okay, cool. So the expert therapist for me is the therapist can know which files to pull and when and how much and deliver it in a way that is succinct to be able to support that individual.
And to become that coach, though, I think you have to do what you did. You have to ask the questions. You have to figure out, okay, these things I did well, these areas I didn't do quite as well. Like what am I missing?
Yeah.
And it's like my goal. I tell every coach that I talk to, because I help a few younger coaches kind of get into teaching. My goal is to say more with less every year. Be able to deliver better information, simpler.
Yeah.
It's always my goal.
And you only get that
as a
through
younger
experience.
coach. I would say so many things that I didn't need to say. You're just almost like filling space. You're talking just because you feel like you should be talking because they're paying you to talk.
Yeah.
I think as you get more experience as a coach, you really learn, like, okay, with an elite player, like, I've got to be careful with what I say. If I say the wrong things, I can start to lose confidence and trust in me and my message, and that's not good for our relationship.
Yeah.
So a big one for me, as I've become a better coach, it's a power pause. It's taking enough time to really think, like, all right, what's going on? What's the root of these issues? How can I attack that one thing that's going to have a cause and effect on all these other pieces?
It's like
and I think your willingness to want to figure that out is what's going to make you a good coach.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because after sessions, my notebook is like.
Oh yeah, when you came in here, I had a notebook over. I put some yeah.
And then you figure out this point. You're like, okay, what's the least pathway to get to here?
Yep.
Oh, it's boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. Even with this podcast, thinking about perseverance, it was, all right, I think it's try to make it linear. I know it's not linear, but trying to make it in the simplest process. So someone was
which
like,
we might not have done a good job of.
I think we did. I think, I mean, we did the full circle bit where you get the linear piece, and then you talk about all the different things around.
Totally.
So someone's loss or someone's like, well, confidence, I think that's a big piece for me. Okay, I know it's kind of in-game-ish, but I know I have some strategies I can do to be able to shift my confidence. But I know it's this linear piece. We got to talk about things around it. That's why a podcast is cool, because you have that space to get to the point. Like, all right, let's talk about how we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, how do you become an expert is kind of going back. Now it's full circle. It's literally deliberate practice. It's the passion piece, and then two things, actually. There's a passion piece, three things. Passion, deliberate practice to be able to have that passion to gain more knowledge, and then it's literally experience.
Yep, it's the
takes
hours.
Time.
Yep.
It's the deliberate.
If you're not coaching, I tell a lot of young coaches, if you're not coaching a lot, it's going to be hard to become a good coach.
And that's not even like deliberate practice as far as hours. It's just literally hours.
Yeah, and it's time managing different personalities, different level players, different level athletes, different goals. Like it's,
you realize, oh, this athlete is at this level, they had this particular goal. What strategies can I use? That's when you like passion piece, dig around, and you find out, oh, cool. The next time you have an athlete that is similar to that athlete, let me start here.
Yep.
To see if this is, and sometimes it's head on, like, all right, cool, I can use the same thing. And sometimes it's, all right, I'm in a way better starting spot to help them. I can use something else here.
Yeah. Because just like I was saying, my goal every year is to say more with less. My other goal is to help people. Even though the failure part of it's very important, I want to help people learn from past players' experience that I've worked with.
Right.
That's, there are certain things that they shouldn't have to encounter and deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certain failures are all part of the process, but if we can avoid some things that maybe aren't necessary.
Yeah. It's not really steamrolling. It's guiding their path of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want you to hit failure.
Yep.
But if you're at a certain level, like you don't need to hit that. That's unnecessary for you to be able to get to where you need to go.
Yep.
But we can hit failures in these types of ways. I can construct you hitting failures in these types of ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have one question for you.
Oh, ask away.
In my opinion, I've seen this trend a lot more recently than I did when I was growing up playing sports. It's how kids talk about themselves with their friends and other kids their age. I see like a very negative dialogue a lot, almost like self-deprecating in a sense. And like they joke about not being good at certain things. And it's something that I was curious your take on that.
I think it is interesting because it depends on where it comes from. Like, does it come from the humility? Like, we use that a lot, right? And throughout this thing, it's you have accolades. I don't have that many accolades yet, but in theory, yes. As far as my percentage, as far as how successful of a clinician I am,
helping people is an accolade,
yeah,
whether it's recognized or not.
Yeah,
that's an accolade.
In theory, my role is, I guess, top 5%. Where, I guess so. But I mean, it depends on where it comes from. If it's from humility standpoint of like, I'm still working on things. Like, there's always room to be able to get better. I think that's okay.
Yes, I would agree.
You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm dominant, man. Like, you could do that too, I guess.
I'm talking. Steve sees Sean in the fairway across, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? Oh, I suck at golf.
Yeah,
I can't do anything."
That's a different level.
They're on the putting green, like, oh, I played like crap yesterday. Today is like, I see a lot of that, and it upsets me.
Yeah,
because I know how important self-talk is, and I think so many people could improve without doing anything other than talking about themselves a little kinder and being kind of supporting themselves in a sense.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking about from like getting to the core of it, right? I think with humility, I think the core of that is understanding that there's still more room to grow. I'm not going to boast about everything because I understand that there's still plenty of progress to be had. Therefore, like, I'm in a good spot and there's still somewhere to go. That's the core of, humility. You have that understanding of,
I'm not where I want to be yet.
Yeah, and that's okay. And it's a process. I'm
Totally.
not there. Maybe once
Totally.
maybe you can be unhumble once you like wrap things up and you have whatever. Like, yeah, I was dominant. Like, you're not trying to do anything anymore,
Because
right?
there can obviously be the other type of kid that's the one-upper.
Yeah, yeah. You
That-
be the one upper, and then
that's
what are
not.
you? What are you
I think
trying to?
neither are great.
Yeah, and if you're the one upper, it's what are you trying to accomplish with that? I think that is a self-esteem thing.
Mhm.
You're trying to be able to. You're heavily influenced by peers because your self-esteem is low, so therefore you determine I have to say X, Y, and Z so other people feel good.
Yep.
I think other people feel good about me, which in essence is a lower self-esteem. But to your point, the core of a person saying how bad they're doing in a negative self-talk way that is not humility. What is the core of where that stems from? That'd be interesting.
I don't
didn't
need an
think
answer
about that.
now
That's interesting. I think I
Just
want to
something
give
to think
I want to
about.
give some thoughts about it.
because it's definitely something I see more of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the question, I want to get some.
Because that goes back to what I said earlier about me being out with my buddies and I hit a really bad shot and they're like, "Oh, you're screwed over there," and I'm like, "No, wait until you see this."
Yeah.
Instead of being like, "Yeah, that was a bad shot. I stink. My short game's not good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna probably make a double bogey."
I think the question, I think where that stems from is, well, this is one place I can think where I think it stems from. It's early childhood. I think Freudian. Ew. It's like early in childhood where it's if someone constantly had negative self-talk about you, or you start to have negative self-talk about yourself, it comes from a place I think of low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Either someone gave that to you, or you talked that way and just kind of continued to where if you're doing well, it's like you can't be doing well. You if you did well, I got really lucky today.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of your control. You did not do well. You can't be doing well. You
Yep.
suck as an individual. And that's a core belief about yourself. How to get out of that would be to cognitively reconstruct your thoughts, which means you have that thought and you think about, is that thought actually true? Do I really suck at short game?
Yeah.
Do I
Yes or
really
no?
suck at this?
Yep.
Is it objectively true? And if it is, why? More than likely, you just don't practice enough, or you don't practice correctly. So there's a really objective way to like why you suck at short game to why you suck at hitting these shots. You probably just don't practice enough. But the restructure part is like, is it actually true? And what evidence do I have for it? And write out in a piece of paper. If not a lot of evidence for it, that means that you have to reconstruct that thought to be like, I actually don't suck at this. I'm actually pretty decent at this. Interesting. Then you have to tell yourself, you retrain your brain of, no, actually, you're actually pretty decent at this.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The cognitive side of it's so important.
so
In my
it'll be
opinion.
restructuring. But for you as a coach, what you could say is, I think if you use a line of you would want to get them to restructure that thought, you can do 2 lines. If it's quick and you have time to do it, right? If like with your friends, like what good does that do for you?
That's funny you say that. I tell all the kids, I'm like, if you can explain to me the benefits of that, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we need to think more about how you're speaking about yourself.
Yeah. I would do it 2 ways. I would start out with, you don't have to therapize the kids. You don't have to get to the core. But you can say, what do you think that does for you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You say you suck at this, you say you suck at that. How do you think that actually helps you perform better?
Exactly.
I'm humble. No. Humble means that you understand there's more work to do. You're saying you are terrible at that. What does that do for you? I don't know. Great. You know what? Let's get pen and paper. Let's restructure. You can restructure it with them. Give me evidence for why you're bad at that. Give me evidence for why you're not bad at that. And do a 2-table chart. You just told me all the ways that you are objectively good at this. When you're inside this area, you usually hit this many yards, which is average for your age. In this area, you actually do this, which is better than average. And your putter game is below average. So you're wrong, right about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time they say something like, keep this paper with you, laminate the damn thing, put a hole in it and attach it to your bag. And every time you have that thought, look, and is it actually true? It's not true. You do suck at putting though. Why do you think you suck at putting?
Yeah.
I hate putting. Well, do you get better at it if you don't putt better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love driving. How do you get better at driving? Well, I hit the range like 3 times a week. Well,
All goes back to deliberate practice.
deliberate practice. And it can make it so it becomes more objective and not so much. You make it so it goes back to perseverance. Make it so it becomes more objective. And then you can go into like the confidence piece of like,
Mhm.
you're better at it because you practice at it. And now your confidence should be like, I'm going to do well at it because I practice at it. And
Yep.
if you do mess up, it's part of the process. It's such a small margin. It's part of the process that happens. Guess you know what you practice with? Getting it out of the woods, because we did that like last Thursday. You take a few times every practice to get it out the woods.
Yep.
And so like now view that as your challenge, because that's your next shot. Doesn't matter what you just hit.
Love
It's
it.
present moment. Next shot. That's a challenge. You
Yep.
practice this. You work at this. Focus on what you need to focus on. Same thing. Every single thing. And it just encompasses everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's great.
We were here for 2 hours.
That was good.
Hey,
was
I
good.
appreciate it. That was
That was really
good.
good.
That was good.